Welcome, welcome. Season 3, Episode 4 of Conversations with Friends. Whew, episode 4. Great episode to have, great topic to have, great panel tonight. Tonight's conversation is Palo Am. Could you pronounce it melodic, please?
Polyamory versus polygamy.
Thank you. Thank you. It's complex conversation, I guess. It's just conversations with friends. It's complex conversation. So we have a few members on the panel, as well as Melodic and myself. Hopefully they'll join us. Muta is here as we speak. Muta
Yes, sir.
is a children's book author,
Yes.
activist. He's in the community, involved in the community, like literally every day. Muta is doing something for his community. I'll just say right now it's for the Newark area, but focuses on the western district. Muta, would you say West Ward?
Well, yeah, my office is based in the West Ward, but we got a bunch of connections and throughout Newark where we share resources. So it's more so, so the Black Ward, so the North, the West Ward and the South Ward and the Central Ward.
Okay, great, great. And I'm glad. I appreciate you, Muta, for joining us for this discussion, because a lot of times when you have discussions like this, we tend to shy away from. A lot of people feel like, oh, I can't discuss this because it's inappropriate or not appropriate. And then, you know, us three, I could speak for us we have kids. And at the end of the day, we need to know what our kids are facing in the future, what the younger generation may not be going through, because for lack of better words, life is fluid. It is continually to, as we say, evolve. So we're gonna get right to it. Melodic, would you like to take off, ma'am?
Okay. So, which definition would you like to hear first?
Explain to us polygamy.
Okay. So, polygamy is when one person has multiple partners.
Mhm.
So, you do have one member who, within the marriage, because it's marriage, and it's actually recognized in excuse me, many different countries. I actually have the number. Give me 1 second. It is legal and it's recognized in, I think it's 49 countries.
And it's not and polygamy is not recognized in the United States.
It is not recognized in the United States, no. And believe it or not, even though there are 49 countries that recognize it, only about 2% of the global population actually participate in it.
Mm. Okay.
So I thought that was very interesting.
Okay.
I thought the numbers would be larger. And that was as of
when
2020.
when you did the research, did you see that? I'm just asking you this question. Did you think that it was more of countries that followed it from a religious aspect?
Some countries follow it from
Religion.
let's be very clear. Polygamy is actually followed more by religious organizations. Then polyamory is more of a consensual relationship with multiple partners, and no one is a secular entity. Everyone is very aware, and they're very open, and everything is consensual. There's nothing hidden in a polyamorous relationship.
Yeah, because I had a friend and she said something in reference to polyamory, and she was like, "Well, that's friends with benefits." No, friends with benefits. I would say most people don't even know about a third person or don't care or whatever. Polyamory is more of love is love. Everything is open, no secrets, no boundaries. We just doing us. I mean, when I looked it up, it's amazing how like I said, even that definition has some fluidity to it. You'll get one person that say one thing about it. Um, it doesn't make a difference if it's three women, three men, four women, five women, six men. The numbers don't have to vary. It's genderless, as they would say.
Right. But they look at it also as like ethical non-monogamy.
Yes.
So basically, there are various partners, but you're in agreement that these are the only participants in this situation, I guess, relationship. And there, believe it or not, you can actually cheat in a
Is it cheating?
polyamory. Yeah, it is cheating because if you go outside of the group, it's considered cheating. Yeah, like that's like a deal breaker in some instances. I found that very interesting.
That is it.
For us that are a little of age, and at a certain point in our lives, I can speak for us three, at a certain point in our lives where we're this is all kind of like new, this title, this thing, and it's like, I would say it's breathtaking, but we, like I said, we have to educate ourselves to understand what is going on. And so we might see this in our families, we might see this in our coworkers, our friends, like I said, anybody, our neighbors. You might be like, it's two grown women living in that house. Like, so this is, or grown men living in that house. So it may seem like, or definitely. So when you're not used to something, it could seem a bit strange.
Well, I also want to be very clear that polyamory is more focuses more on the sexual aspect of the relationship. It's taking on more lovers as opposed to a hierarchical relationship.
So is polyamory is typically a sexual thing? It's not like a family structure. I'm asking.
No, not like a family structure. It's more of a I guess a social construct, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Muta,
yes, sir.
Give us your thoughts, because I know when I put it out there that we wanted to have this discussion, you had said some things, about your personal belief, and I don't want to speak for you, and you're here to speak on how you feel about it, and how you what's your concept of what's going on between these two interesting factors.
So without turning my nose down at polyamory, because it doesn't have the family structure at the forefront, it would be something that would be probably detrimental in our community. So where we need our families together. As far as polygamy, we believe in that. And the reason why we believe in that is because it solidifies the family. So we in a time where not enough men is in these households. So we have what, like six out of 10 mothers, families without a man in the household. And it's partially due to, there's a lot of factors that play into it. Incarceration. We got to realize that we as Black people, we still under war. We under the war doctrine. We are still being plucked and picked off. And that's why polygamy is lawful. Because when you don't have enough men in households, you need men in these households. So if you have 20 women and 7 men, what do? Say, all right, only the good women going to take the 7 men, and the other ones, they're going to, them and their families are left behind. So, even though I'm married and I'm not in a polygamous relationship, I do believe in it. I believe that the reasons why it exists is solid and foundational. And once again, as far as the polyamory situation, it just, I'm scared. Like I find it hard to trust 6 people. and with my sexual organs, like on a daily basis. I let's say I make a bad decision because you said you could cheat, right? So let's say I make a bad decision. I go,
no, you can't cheat. You're not supposed to.
yeah, but
That's
no,
not part of the rules.
no, but we break rules though. We done made a whole word,
Okay.
right? So apparently the rules don't. I mean, the rules to this new platform, all right. But like, if I know human beings, I know human beings to break rules,
Right.
and that's just too many options to break rules that'll kill me.
Okay.
So with all these diseases and everything, I would be mortified if I'm like, all right, listen, I'm sticking my stuff in you, and 5 other people sticking their stuff in you. Oh my gosh. So maybe it's just that, like you said, we're a little bit older, and everything is fluid in transit, and this is just something that we are coming to grips with.
Right. Now, just to make it a little spicier. So you said that you are in agreement with polygamy, but there are actually 3 types of polygamy. Are you in agreement with all 3? So here we go. Here's the first one. Polygamy is the practice of one man marrying 2 or more women. Whereas the next one is polyandry, is when one woman marries 2 or more men. And this is all within the family structure. And then the third one is polygamy, which is group marriage, where you have several different members within the same marriage, and they're all a family structure, and everyone is participating, sister wives, and I guess brother husbands. Everyone is participating and taking care of the family.
All right. So once again, we're gonna go back to the math on the male woman dynamic and how many women there are to each single heterosexual male. So the numbers is crazy. So what I tell 2 women, what I say, all right, you could marry more than one husband as a woman. I wouldn't agree with that because we had the lack is a lack of men. So if there was a lack of women, if it wasn't enough women, then I guess that could be thought about, right? But we hear where we are right now, and women outnumber men tremendously. So as far as like the whole group thing, that just we all going, like, my couple's going to marry this couple and marry this couple. That seems a little bit like polyandry, just with the vows.
Okay. Now, I had a conversation about this topic with a friend of mine who's actually originates from a country where polygamy is pretty much the norm. And I asked this person, hey, what do you think about this? This is the topic that we're going to deal with on the show. And the person said, well, I agree with it. He was like you. He said, I agree with it if a male is going to marry various females because they're enlarging their family and they're all working together to build a family unit. I said, okay, but you know that it also, you also have polyandry where women are allowed to marry various husbands. He was like, well, I don't agree with that. I said, well, why not? And he goes, because a woman takes 9 months to have a baby. So if you're growing your family and you're working on having a bigger family so that you can help, just the family unit, etc. Excuse me. He was like, it would take 9 months for her to have another baby with the other husband. He said, whereas he felt like a man could go out and make children with various different, he said within a week or so, he could have 5 different women pregnant So he would, it would be faster. Yes, it would take 9 months, but it's, times 5. So he felt like, that was, that was a better scenario. I mean, I thought it was interesting what he said, but
I seen a post the other day, right? And it referenced a cup of liquid, right? It said this cup of liquid is good, right? Now I could rub around the cup of liquid all I want, right? As many people could touch the outside of this cup of liquid, and it's still the same good, wholesome tea that I could drink, right? Now, just imagine everybody dipping their finger inside this tea. Imagine 20 people dipping their hand inside this tea. It would no longer be good for me to drink anymore. If that makes any sense.
as she sips her tea. Side, what's going on, brother?
What's going on? Peace. How's everybody?
We have another
Peace,
panelist,
peace.
melodic brother Side. He answered the inbox, and Side Mutai is on the panel as well. He basically gave his explanation of why he believes in polygamy as well. And I know you had something that you wanted to share, your beliefs and concepts with this polyamory and polygamy aspect as well.
So as far as polyamory, I do disagree with the young lady. It's definitely not a sexual dynamic unless that's what you make it. We go out, we have fun. We don't. Sex is probably like the last thing. We're out with our children. So it's definitely a family dynamic. But it's just like with any two-person relationship, is what you make it, and the dynamic that you make it. So our dynamic is definitely not just a sexual. That's probably the last thing of it.
that's
Like
actually
I said,
that's our definition of it. So I wouldn't. I noticed you said you disagree with the young lady, but no, I was actually reading you the actual definition.
oh, okay.
The young
Okay.
lady has not given her opinion on anything.
Okay, well, forgive me.
Go ahead, Side.
I don't want no smoke. No, well, like I said, it's just for us. It's not. It's like I said. It's more of a family. We go out. We have fun. We involve the kids. We go on vacation. It's to me. It's like everything else. It's what you make of it.
But you don't agree that it's taken on multiple lovers?
Oh yeah, it's definitely it. Yeah, definitely. It's three of us.
Side,
I
let me ask you: would you consider your situation more of a polygamy situation or a polyamory situation?
polyamory.
Why is that?
Because we're all involved. It's not like I don't have. So I have two girlfriends, and my girlfriends have a girlfriend, and they have me. So it's like we're all involved. It's not me being involved by
There's no
myself
one
with.
monogamous party.
Right. Correct.
Okay. Here we have our other panelist. She just arrived. Viv, welcome to the show.
Peace.
I can't hear you, Viv.
Yeah, it's freezing up.
No?
Yeah, you're a little low, but I can hear you now.
Okay. That better?
Yeah. So I know you were ready. You were ready, Viv. This is something that you wanted to chime in on, be part of the discussion, which is a great thing. Viv and myself are we have a show. We have a show that's going to be premiering soon called All or Nothing. So I told Muta before Viv you joined that you're very opinionated, and you would love to hear and as we say, chop it up in part of this conversation. What's your thoughts on these two definition or dynamics, as they say?
So, polygamy Clearly, I'm not involved in either lifestyle. Polygamy doesn't necessarily sit the best with me, but it's for some people. I do get the benefits of it, particularly in terms of having sister wives and having partners in caring for the family. I get that. Polyamory, not involved in that lifestyle either. Um, Proponent of it though, I get it. I think it makes sense for folks to have their boundaries and explore as they want to. I know I heard everyone talking before. I'm not really on board with the thought that a lifestyle is only appropriate if it advances the family. That's kind of neither here nor there to me. I think that you know if it's pleasurable and everyone's on board, folks should do what works for them. That's
My
my thought.
cousin, he commented, very interesting comment. I think we should look at. He said, polyamory, it seems in our community already practice it. Some in our community. Polygamy, if you look at it from a historic view, it has always been done for society, social and political reasons. We here in the West, we really can't handle the concept of more than one spouse.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know that many, if you're talking about polygamy, we're talking about a man having multiple wives, it's expensive. So you got to be able to support all those mouths. You know what I mean? It's
Families.
easy to talk about it, but you got to be able to support all those families financially and emotionally.
I know this could be a very interesting subject, so don't all y'all be quiet.
That
I got one.
emotionally too. We gotta support. We gotta support.
Absolutely.
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 In a relationship, don't you have to support your partner emotionally and your children emotionally?
I don't. I think your emotional, whatever you're going through emotionally, is something that's tied to you. That another individual is going to be hard to wrap around it. I mean, a person could be there for you while you emotionally, but
Hmm.
I think that's more of an individual circumstance that we got to deal with it. So I got to deal with my emotions in my head. Like, my woman can't help me deal with my emotions. That's just my thought.
She can. She can. I hear what you're saying, and I respect that. I just, but when I said emotional support emotionally, I just mean that we do need to be able to hold space for our partner. So yes, I'm not responsible for fixing what my man is going through or my
Only
husband's
reason
going through. But
only reason I had said something is because you'll have partners that will charge their partner with the fact of making them happy. Well, I'm not happy, so it's your
Mhm.
fault. And that is that. If you're not happy, you're gonna have to make yourself happy before you come to me, because I'm not gonna task myself with making you happy, because that could be anything.
That's fair. That's fair.
Absolutely. Happiness is an inside job, but I think
Yeah.
there are other aspects in life and other circumstances that we may go through that our partners can help us through, and vice versa. And that's dealing with, I mean, like for every action, there's a reaction. So let's say you go to work, you get fired. Yes, you would expect your spouse to be there for you to, help you sort through whatever emotional issues you're having behind that, and to help you move forward with maybe finding something else for you to, support your family. So, I mean, I think it's a relationship.
Right.
Relationship, marriage, you're depending on one another to help each other, guide each other through, the ebbs and flows of life.
Let me ask Side. Let me ask you. Your situation is very unique, and I never heard nobody explain it the way that you explained, and be in that situation. How is it, as Viv said, with the emotional aspect? If somebody, because human nature, sometimes people have feelings, and people may come in with no expectation, but expectations grow. How is that dynamic?
Hard. It's it's hard. I mean, you're dealing with emotions from two different people and feelings from two different people. So you have to balance that along with everyday life and the children. It's very hard.
I have a question. So,
Yes, ma'am.
what do you tell your children regarding, especially your daughters and your sons, but especially your daughters within in regards to choosing a partner and having various partners, etc. How do you, it's a different dynamic. I'm just interested in how you explain this situation to your children.
Well, I haven't had to explain it to my daughter. She's still very, very young. Um, and my older daughter's in college, so haven't had to do too much explaining with them. Really, I haven't, because it's a somewhat of a newer situation. Um, I haven't been explained to them on that level yet. So in their eyes, well, as far as I know, but kids, they know more than they tell us. We're just all friends hanging out.
Well, I'm curious to know if your daughter that was in college came to you and said, "Hey, Dad, this guy would like to be in a polyamorous relationship with
Hmm.
me and my friend," and
Hmm.
how would you advise her? I'm just curious.
Um, so I would want to know that she's happy, that she knows that she knows the people that she's getting involved with.
Mhm.
Um, and I would always tell her to be safe, but I wouldn't advise her against it. I honestly, I think this is what life is going to. I think just because it's so many young men dying and in prison, and like men, that the women outnumber men so much that maybe not in our lifetime, but when our maybe our kids, I think this is just what life is going to be.
So you feel like this in this situation, you can build with both of these women and eventually, I don't know, transition it to a polygamous relationship, a
Yes,
marriage with both.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So I'm actually under Islamic law married to one for 15 years.
Mhm.
Well. Like I said, this conversation, when you reach a certain age and a certain point in your life, these conversations can appear to be hard, but as parents, melodic asking inside the questions about how we should deal with our children is very, very important because our children are learning every day. They're just like us. They're a sponge, and they may come to us for answers or for guidance. And we always want to be supportive of their decisions and always be able to use our life as an experience for them, good and bad, and be able to have some understanding and realize where
No, no, no. That's what I'm saying.
I would say life is going in America.
I have another question for Saad. So
Yes, ma'am.
we had also mentioned that there are various forms of polygamy. So are you in agreement with the polyandry version where a woman can marry two or more men? And in regards to polyamory, would it be okay if your girlfriends decided to bring males into the relationship?
Oh no, not no. We're a closed. There's there's no other men allowed. There's no other women that's gonna be added. We're It's just us. And what was your first question?
Oh, the polyandry polygamy. So that's where a woman marries two or more men.
I mean, to each his own. If that's what they like, more power to them. I mean, I wouldn't particularly be in a dynamic like that, but to each his own. Everybody deserves to be happy.
Okay.
I'm quite sure anybody, Viv, got questions. Having this discussion, you know, um, Melodic and myself, and I could kind of speak for this, that this is like the core of the mission of our show is to be able to have these type of conversations
Indeed.
dealing with our community and how we feel, how we think, because at the end of the day, like we got to get a hold of our community and get it to a place where we should be comfortable within our own selves and doing whatever we choose to do with our own lives. So I know that I don't want nobody to feel like they ain't got to be transparent and not talk, but I'm glad that Saad and Muta and Viv could join us for this interesting topic and the people that's viewing. I'm quite sure some of them have some things they want to say, but this is a no judgment zone. Nobody judges anybody. We just try to get a better understanding of what's going on. Muta, you have this eloquent smile on your face, sir.
Kasad, my hero. I apologize.
Muta, I want to ask you a question. I know that me and you share a lot of our values and our thoughts are so much in line. Ain't even funny. We go way back with a lot of stuff. And you talked about the family structure and how important that was to you with dealing with the numbers. Why so many women out here, the men. Do you think that a lot of in your understanding of polygamy, do you think that a lot of people look at it as, oh, he just want more than one woman so he could do his thing? Explain that. You know where I'm going with this.
Absolutely. So what happens is emotionally, women don't want to share. They don't want to share nothing. So when you're dealing with the emotions, you're like, all right, then it seems dirty. But once you look at the mechanism of it, you like, okay, that might be needed. Um, just in reference to right now in the black community, we're being attacked on all levels. So how many men are really capable of holding up a household to this point? We're talking about financially, emotionally, and just a moral support. How many men can actually go into a household and say, listen, I'm going to be the head of the household? This is why we have these women men arguments back and forth on the internet. Me personally, I know my role as a man. My role as a man is to head my household. My role as a man is to secure my household. If we in a community where there are 100 women for every one man, is it fair to society for that one woman to keep that man to herself? I mean, not let's leave out of how we feeling about it. Let's leave out our emotional aspects and what don't make us feel right. We talking about building society, and sometimes we got to take out that. I just want to be happy. I just want to be. I just want to listen. If for those who still wanting to be happy in this time and period, go ahead on that side. Go be happy over there. I don't really care about happiness. I care about the functionality of the family, the functionality of the community.
So
The function is not happy.
do you
Say
ever
that again.
consider yourself maybe spreading yourself too thin? Let's say if there were multiple partners, various children within the separate marriages or relationships, would you be able to fully commit to each kid 100% of your time outside of your work? And if you have separate households, how would you accomplish that?
I ain't committing 100% of my time to nothing.
Okay.
Nothing besides the freedom of my people. So when I and I don't want to sound cocky about this, right? But I'm a man. So if any math problem you do, the rarer something is, the more greater in value it has. So that is a reason why diamond has so much value, because they're rare. is the reason why these precious metals got so much value, because you got to go through so much to get them. So the same thing applies to the to the Black American man. Same things apply, except we don't give him that value. Me, I personally take that value, so I don't allow anybody's narratives to dictate. So I know what the numbers is. I know once I know what the numbers are, you could come up with whatever spill you want to come up with. The numbers ain't going to change. The numbers say we need more men in these households. That's what the numbers say. So as far as me taking care of each child individually 100% of the time, no, I'm not. It's impossible. So I can't be there to wipe your kneecap and be there to wipe his at the same time. It's impossible. That's why we hoping that we choose good women, so that in my absence, right, when I'm not there, that you could hold it down until I get back. Because if I'm with a whole nother family, it's trying to take away from that family to get your time. That's more of a pleasure thing. Like, well, let's see how we could pull his tail, pull his leg, and that'll be counterproductive on all standpoint.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question? So with that though, what would be the purpose of, let's say, creating children, right? And populating, but having kids who grow up to be grown men and women who are not emotionally halfway stable because they don't have the attention and support they need. I don't understand the point of that.
Define emotionally stable.
Not
I
strong
don't
enough.
want you to really define emotionally stable. I apologize. I ain't
Okay.
really want you to define emotionally stable, because that could go anywhere, right?
Oh yeah.
What I'm saying is that no matter how you raise a child, that child is going to come up with certain things. You could raise a child the best you could, and he could become a serial killer, right? I'm an orphan. So I've been on my own since I was 14 years old, and I'm a pillar of the community. So it's not so much as I'm tasked with the job of raising the best people possible, even though I am, right. Even though I do my due diligence to be there in my family's lives. Right now, my wife is in Georgia. I'm in Jersey because I got business to take care of in Jersey. Does she like it? No. Is she comfortable with this? No. Is my mission more important? Yes, my mission is more important than my mission is more important than the family. So a man without a mission, you could string him anywhere. You could take him anywhere. You could knock him off his square anytime. But that mission, that's the for a man. For a man, that mission is the most important thing.
Okay. And I mean, I can respect if a person's like, I have a mission, I need to go after it. Then why add the family to it, though? That's my thing. I'm not affirmed. And that's just, we probably differ there. I don't think that we need to populate the
earth.
Want
your family. I want my family to go in my footsteps. I want them to see what I'm doing. So it's like what I'm doing is evident. It's obvious that I'm doing productive stuff. So do I want my son to grow up exactly like me? I want my daughter to marry somebody like me.
Isn't that kind of though? So I think my thing, the only question, I'm not questioning your mission. I respect that. I'm just saying, then are we really overall, is the concern about perpetuating healthy family, or is it more of like a self-motivated thing, which is not, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just asking, I'm just trying to get clarity. Like what's the motivator?
Building society. Right now, Black people aren't functioning in society adequately. We functioning on a primitive scale. We can't work together at all. We come from villages and tribes, and we here, and now we functioning on money, right? We functioning on finances. With that being said, I choose not to function. I'm functioning on the greater whole. That's the only thing I care about, the greater whole. It's so many nuances that come in that if you don't keep your eyes on the prize, you'll get sidetracked.
Saad, this is where I think that your expertise is needed. when hearing this discussion and Mutai explaining his position, um, it the way that you handle your situation, side, how, like I said, it's the word attachment. I think this word and what we perceive family to be, because you got your wife, you feel like you're attached, and the wife may get too attached, or the husband may get too attached. And Mutai's explaining how his attachment is more towards the liberation of his people. How would you handle that if, like I said, Saad, when the growing attachment happens, like it's boundaries, and you may have established boundaries early, but then an attachment happens.
Just roll with it. I mean, nothing stays the same. So you have to be open to roll with the punches. And I take everything at face value and roll with it. You find a way to deal. Yeah,
Mm.
because it's hard. Like it's so like so for my situation, like in the beginning, my wife was like, "Okay, you can't do this, can't do that, got to be this way, got to be that way." Um, and there was a lot of uh, jealousy, not in a bad way, just from new things, like normal stuff, and not just on her end, like me too. Um, so it's you just got to roll with the punches and grow and be willing to do that. I mean, nothing bad about the brother Mutai. I'm just different. I'm gonna roll with it and find a way to deal and to try to keep everybody happy.
Okay. So, when we're talking about threats to non-monogamous relationships, jealousy was a huge factor listed in, and I pulled this from Psychology Today. So it says that jealousy is a huge factor. Also, new relationship energy is something that also causes issues within non-monogamous relationships. When you get into a new relationship, you know how you have that honeymoon phase, and sometimes the partner who was there first feels, like ostracized, and like you have a connection with that partner, but then you're connecting with another partner, and it can cause jealousy, it can cause discontent within the relationship, and sometimes that actually makes these situations, break up. It becomes a deal breaker.
You're 150% right on that. That was like you hit that on the nose. That was definitely the situation. My wife would tell me I'm acting different and treating my girlfriend better, and I'm like, it's new, so I'm gonna be different. And then you have to realize like you're two different people, so I'm not gonna be the same way with you that I am with her.
And they also said that sometimes when the long-term partner starts having issues, the situation can actually flip, because the non-monogamous participant usually will then start paying more attention to the long-term partner to, like pat and rub the situation.
Yep, that happens. It happens just like that.
Okay.
Just like that. And like I said, this is new for us, so we're still working things out and still really getting to know each other in like a relationship manner. It's hard. It's very, 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 very hard and very trying some days.
How do you balance both personalities?
With a prayer. With a prayer. I mean, I'm so I work a lot, so it's not like, so my girlfriend, we talk, I'll have time, we'll talk a little while I'm at work. I sell cars, so I have a lot of downtime. And I'm at home with my wife, so we're always interact in. But sometimes she'll say, "Oh well, we're not doing this," and you're talking to her. But it's just like I said, it's just growing pains, and everybody's trying to get used to something new. And it's not just on her because sometimes it's been times that they went out and I felt the way because I'm not there, or I'm not able to be there. But we get over it. We try to have conversations about everything so we can keep everything on the table and nobody's walking around feeling the way.
One of the
Okay.
one of the things that someone in the comments said, and I think this is appropriate. I see the main issue at hand is that this is an over sexualized society. Melodic and myself, we did a show last year around hypersexuality and how, I think that show was great for that time and what we were trying to accomplish. I think we accomplished it in that show. But when you look at these type of scenarios, I think most people from the outside will be like, is it a sexual thing? Is it attachment? What if, like Melodic brought up the scenario of jealousy? Like, are you spending the time equally? Um, I know quite sure Muta knows about the time equally thing, that has to be paramount. If you're gonna have multiple wives, how do you sound like, I know your situation, I know how hard you work, I know you do your thing. What happens if the girlfriend want to spend time with you but don't want to do nothing with nobody else? Like she just good. She just wants you to walk her
Well,
in the park.
that's what happens. I mean, we're actually out today. We're both off on Tuesday. So we have our Tuesday that we spend every Tuesday together. And then usually Friday and Saturday it'll be all three of us. And then Sunday I spend with my wife. For the rest of the week, I'm working 10 hours a day.
So do you
Yeah.
okay? Do you agree that to maintain this situation, you tend to spend more time with your wife to satisfy that longer term relationship?
No, because we live together, so we're always together.
Okay.
Very interesting scenario.
Now
It's
I
funny
have. Oh, I'm sorry.
having this discussion makes me be like, you know what? How do I split up my time just with friends? Like, am I giving this friend too much time with me? And you kind of, it gives you a different perspective. And I always say is that you get a different understanding. And life is not about looking at nobody and judging them. Life is about learning,
Right.
because every day
Indeed.
we learn, and
Indeed.
being able to adapt to how you move. Because at the end of the day, you go to work, you go home, you take care of your responsibilities. So what someone else does really don't affect you, but you need to learn how to be sociable with other people and other beliefs and other people,
Absolutely.
how people live their lives. Melodic, you
Absolutely.
was about to say something?
Yes, I do have a question for all three of the guests panelists tonight, and if everyone could give their thoughts on this. Um, what do you think the potential downsides could be to polyamory or polygamy?
I mean, the downside is that for me too, or no?
Yeah, it's for all three of you. It's for all
I
three of you.
mean,
So we're looking to get several different opinions, or
so
several
yeah.
different views rather.
So I mean, one downside clearly is the jealousy aspect. I mean, I think that's a given, right? As much as I would love, I think I said this last time when we were talking, I would love to be in a polyamorous relationship. I know I don't think I'm built that way though. I'm not, I'm emotionally monogamous. Unfortunately, I was born that way. I wish I could not be, but I am. But I would love to be. I think it makes sense to me intellectually. I also know I'm a jealous heifer too, though. So I'd have to check that. You know what I mean? I realize that. So I think jealousy is a downside. Um, I think the potential lack of flexibility. I know Saad was saying like there is no room to bring another woman in, or for, let's say, one of, his wife or his girlfriend to bring another man in. And so for me, that kind of boxes you in a little bit. That's just, me personally. If I was like, okay, my husband has a girlfriend, I might one day be like, you know what? I want a little boyfriend on the side. I met somebody I connect with. And so I think that you gotta ideally play around with room for everyone to grow in their own ways. And, if that's not necessarily what folks want, those changes can put a strain on the relationship.
Okay, thank you for that. Who would like to go next? Muta, Side.
I mean,
Um,
now
I'm
if the new person downside of the new person that comes in doesn't connect with the long term person,
Mhm.
that could be an extreme downside. I had to learn that when looking at the second person, that it wasn't about me, like, because I'm the common denominator. They both like me.
Right.
They have to like each other.
Yeah.
So it's more. So if there's not a connection there, then there's gonna be nothing at all.
Mhm.
I think that's a huge downside of it. So it's choosing a partner is definitely like a very important thing. And choose the wrong one, you already got a little bit of static in your relationship. You're gonna have hell on wheels.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as far as the
oh,
jealousy, there's good jealousy and there's bad jealousy. Like, being jealous is a natural thing, so it's not all bad. And then in in the polyamory, it's all different branches. So I
Right.
mean, if you discuss and you say, okay, well, in the beginning, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna have a boyfriend eventually. Then everything can work out. Whatever you put your mind to will work.
Okay.
Right on. Yeah.
Muta.
I so I think the jealousy comes in because we romanticize. Because as an American culture, we romanticize this idea of something that isn't historically correct worldwide. So let's say if you go to an African woman in Africa and you're telling her, and she's going to be like, yeah, she's not going to be worried about what her husband's wife, her husband of the wife. She's not, because they're raised like that, and because we're raised this way, which is we raised backwards. Just to be clear about that, we in this society are ass backwards, and we romanticize about all the wrong things. We jealous about all the wrong things. If I'm choosing to be in a polyamorous relationship, that means I gotta no matter what come with that polyamory, I gotta accept it. So if that means that my wife get to have another boo thing on the side, once I have my boo thing on the side, I what I'm gonna say. So just understanding like what's the rules of engagement, and make sure when them cables turn that you could handle it.
Muta
Okay. It looks
dropped.
like we lost. Right. We
Muta
lost some
dropped. Yeah,
time.
walked in the other room. But Melodic, I want to answer your question.
Mm-hmm. Because you have been quiet, Q.
Yeah, I just got a new sponge from Wally World, so I'm sponging. I'm sucking all this in. So,
Okay. Okay.
but I think one of the downsides goes back to um, one of the downsides for both situations
Mm-hmm.
could be from the start. The start should be based off of pure communication.
Right.
I think a lot of times, when you look at numbers, and unfortunately, what we do I like to say that we're social engineers, so to say. So we always got to do a bunch of research for shows. And when
Right.
you see the divorce numbers are going down in this country, people still having sex because it's an over sexualized society compared to 10, 15, 20 years ago. I think a lot of people are in situations that
Right.
they can't quite put a definition on. And in those situations, if you have great communication skills, great understanding, some people will be in it regardless, as long as they know this is what it is, this is what it's going to be, this is how it's going to be. And the minute that someone goes outside that boundary, because you establish it from a monogamy standpoint, it could be female talking to another female, like polyamory. It could be a male talking to a male, or a male talking to a male talking to a female. I don't want to get into gender. So once them two people have that understanding of what it's going to be, and then they both agree on it, then other people that may be invited to the party, then that's what they choose to do. I think the downside is that unfortunately, as human beings, sometimes we try to be super slick. It's super fast, and we don't stick to our word. We don't stick to what we said it was from the beginning. We move the goalposts, so to say. And that's where I believe the problems could come in on both situations.
Right. Well, what did
I mean,
Mutai say earlier? He said sometimes people like to break the rules, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes people like to break the rules. He about to be back in a second. Here you go. Yeah, so Mutai, you had walked in the other room, so you had dropped. Oh, now you're frozen, Mutai.
Yo,
Oh, there you go.
I'm gonna have
It
I'm gonna have to say
sounds low.
say good night. I have some reservations. My girlfriend allowed me to talk this long. I told you we out right now.
Listen,
It was real talking to y'all. Nice meeting everybody.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you for
Appreciate y'all
joining.
having
Thank
me.
you.
hey,
All right,
Side,
everybody stay up. Yes, what's up?
I appreciate you, bro, man, and I appreciate you coming on, man. And bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Every time I look at you, man, you know I think about your brother, man. He always in my thoughts, man. He always in my
Yeah,
thoughts. That was my guy, man. So appreciate you for joining us, bro.
I appreciate you for having me. Everybody have a good night.
All
You
right.
as well.
Night.
Thank you. So I just want to list
Mutai,
some
you
of the
there?
out.
Hey, Mutai, you frozen. There you go.
He dropped again. Okay. I just want to list some of the challenges that were listed on Psychology Today. So it says the complexity may challenge and frustrate individuals who become exhausted from juggling the needs of multiple partners. It says, excuse me, there could be a high partner turnover. Can you hear me, Q?
Yeah.
Okay. And excuse me, it says that children may become angry, excuse me, or experience deep feelings of loss. Children may also feel like there's too much supervision when multiple adults are constantly in their presence. Excuse me. And also, if the partners are not clear about the rules for their particular connection, excuse me, that can be a common challenge. So,
Yeah.
definitely, I mean, I feel like minus the children part and the turnover, I think that Saad definitely gave some of these issues that
Yeah, I believe that it's like I said, one of the things melodic. You had these discussions. A lot of people may have wanted to join, may watched, and may didn't want to say how they feel or how their view of things. But like I said, we need these discussions because they're important for us, if not just us in our own lives, for our children.
right.
And Saad definitely gave us an example. Even his ending just now was hilarious. Because at the end of the day,
Right.
she wanted her time.
Right. Indeed.
Mutai said that it keeps crashing. I told him to go back in the main room.
Okay.
Melodic, I know we usually have a time where you like to a time limit, but I know this hour went kind of fast. There.
It definitely did. I mean, I think this was a interesting topic, and I think that people were very passionate on about their views or explaining their situations, etc. Although I'd like to say that I felt like I was Switzerland over here.
What's funny is that when you for me, when you hear other people's views and how they deal with those situations, like I said, even with me as a person who I believe I try to show up for my friends, you gotta be, I've done shows with you, Melodic, with this show, we're very cool, very close, and then Viv and myself have some projects that we're working on. You gotta, and I always go back to a Melodic, that first conversation. And I think that a lot of times with people and being healthy friendships, healthy relationships, that they don't ever have a conversation about boundaries. And they don't have conversations where they really kick it. I mean, speaking from my point of view, I know I could talk to both of y'all about practically anything. So it's like, having those boundaries set. Oh, yo, let me chop it up with Melodic. I need to tell her, I need to vent to her about some stuff I got going on, and Viv as well. I think a lot of times people don't, regardless of what capacity of friendship, relationship, whatever it is, they just never establish boundaries. And it's important that you do, because sometimes you could cross them and not even realize you crossed them and offend somebody, and they'd be like, nah, you don't cross the line, dude. Like, or you don't cross the line, young lady, and people get really upset.
Yeah,
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, Viv, what were you cooking?
Oh, nothing exciting. I was cooking chicken and bell peppers and onions and some kale. So
that's always exciting.
Right?
Is it exciting?
Yes, that sounds exciting.
As long as it wasn't fried chicken for us trying to lose some weight.
It was not. It was not
food.
fried chicken.
There we go. They got the kale, got the leafy greens going. I hope you caramelize the onions to taste totally different than raw onions, even though I do like raw onions too.
Yeah. I mean, they're in there. I didn't caramelize them, but they're cooking. They're cooked. Let's put it that way.
Right.
That's all I got. They're cooked.
Great. Melodic, you had something you wanted to say?
Oh, I was just I just wanted to point out a couple of things to you guys in regards to religions that actually do recognize polygamy. Not polyamory, but polygamy. Right. Buddhism at one point they did, but they don't. They no longer. They outlawed it in 2015, believe it or not. Right.
Okay.
They recognized it in 1955, and excuse me, in 2015 they no longer. They denounced it. Okay. Christianity, no, they don't recognize it at all.
Unless you live in Utah.
I'm about to say.
Okay. Well, no. Well, Mormons.
Yeah.
Okay.
That totally different. Not Christianity, but excuse me. The Mormons denounced it in 1890. The head of the Mormon Church denounced it in 1890 because the U.S. government was against it. Excuse me, and it's illegal. And then, but there are small groups within the Mormon religion that still practice it. But the head of the church, the church denounces it. They don't recognize it. Excuse me. I thought that was pretty interesting, because usually when we hear about the Mormons, that's definite, like the show Sister Wives and all of that. That's definite. So clearly,
and actually, it's funny that Channel 7 just did that special on the Jeb guy that had all them wives and all that stuff.
And then the Hindu religion, there are it allows polygamy under certain circumstances. Excuse me. So traditional Hindu law allows polygamy. but there are certain sects that do not recognize
Okay.
it. And then, of course, Islam recognizes polygamy. Excuse me. Let's see. Yes. So, and believe it or not, Islam is probably the largest, the largest major religion that recognizes polygamy.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty interesting. And then also the last one is Judaism. So traditionally, Judaism recognized polygamy. Excuse me. And in the Torah and in the Quran, it's recognized as well. But let's see. Few contemporary Jewish sects actually recognize polygamy in this day and age. So
interesting.
I thought it was very interesting because I did not realize that so many different religions did recognize it, whereas Christianity completely denounces it.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's illegal. So there's that part. It's not
illegal in this country, but
in this country.
Right.
So, I mean, folks can have at it. I'm not a fan, like I said, because the whole idea of a man, of course, some men want to take multiple wives, and we could talk all day about why that is and how that helps populate, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a fan at all.
But there are women who can take multiple husbands also, though.
I mean,
there was a village. There's a village that's in a remote area where two brothers is married to one woman.
Right.
Very interesting dynamic with that.
I would say do her thing if she wants to take two husbands.
Right. I put it like this. I took a survey of friends, and the responses were hilarious. I did give one of the responses that I received earlier in the broadcast, but a few of the women that I know in their 40s and 50s were like, "Oh, I would definitely be down with having two husbands."
That's so funny.
I thought it was hilarious. I mean, I don't know how serious they were, but it was definitely it led to interesting conversations, to say the least.
On a Darren said, on a positive note, a unit of men and women, however you want to chop it up, would work well as long as they only as long as they're not only on the same page emotionally, psychologically, but having a goal of building a future for all involved. The children would benefit by always having a few adults at hand. The adults really focus on building a solid life. Yeah, well, we see this when you have communities that literally get bought up in very remote areas. Somebody may own acres of land, invite a bunch of families to come there. For example, Melodic's son married my daughter. We all know each other. And this is how some communities really build themselves up, because really, when you look at the kids, why wouldn't I want my daughter to marry Melodic's son? I know her. I know where this boy comes from. That's how I always look at it. But that's a whole different discussion. That is a discussion on community building, because a lot of times I don't think people really understand how important community is for us, and how just knowing your neighbor could be important. But any final thoughts, young Viv or Melodic?
No. I wish I had heard. I came in. I didn't say much to Saad because I didn't really know what his situation was. I wish I had heard more about that. Is he in a polyamorous relationship? Is that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I would have been very fascinated to talk to him more.
My final thoughts are, I definitely feel like we learned some very interesting facts today. I thought it was very interesting to have two different panelists who were in, the two types of excuse me, relationships we were speaking about. I thought that was pretty cool. Thanks for the guest, Q. But I also feel like, I mean, to each his own. You can't tell anyone how to live their lives. If you like it, I love it. It's as simple as that. As long as everybody's happy and it's you know it works for you, who am I to judge?
Yeah.
My final thoughts is I feel encouraged. This was a discussion that was needed. It was melodic. I'd like to say that she came up with the topic and was very tactful. Um, got on me and really wanted to discuss this, and it's a good thing. Like I always say, like it's about those kids. It's about our society is fluid, and you got to be able to deal with each other. Or we were created to socialize with one another and have our differences. Some people like tall people, some people like short, some people like brown skin, some people like light skin, some people like this. And living in this society, you don't know what's going to happen next. So being able to have some understanding, having a panel that's willing to explain themselves and always be able to be available, and I learned a lot and got a lot out of the conversation, and hopefully
Indeed.
we can
Yeah.
continue to move forward. Appreciate everybody that joined the show. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and maybe one day I could put up the right opening and be on point, because I definitely put the wrong opening to the show up. But appreciate everybody. Viv, stay on. I don't want you to go. And
Okay.
with that, everybody take care. Have a blessed night.